Are there any vague clues that you can give us that's going to happen in the season? Hey there, you twisted serial killer aficionados. Welcome to the very first episode of Dexter Final Cut, your go-to destination for everything Dexter and the official after show for Dexter Original Sin. I'm your host, Jamie Chung, aka Molly Park, from Dexter New Blood, and I'm here to guide you through all the bloody good details of this week's episode. Kicking off our premiere with a true Dexter heavyweight, we have a very special guest who's no stranger to The Dark Passenger. He's been a writer and producer for the original series, executive producer for Dexter New Blood, and host of its weekly podcast wrap-up. And now he's an executive producer of Dexter Original Sin. Give it up for the one and only Scott Reynolds. Oh, let's hear some claps, guys. Let's go.
Fun to be here.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
So much spatter.
I
Great.
mean,
and you know it's spatter,
it's bad.
not splatter.
No, we have to start from the beginning. For those who don't know, how did you get started with this franchise?
I was actually Clyde Phillips, who is the showrunner. I was his assistant like 30 years ago. And when he got the show, I was like, oh my God, this is everything. Like, I'm a horror guy.
Yeah.
I was like, this is everything I want to do and everything I want to be. So Clyde called me up and
It's
was
time
like,
for you to step up to
yeah,
bat.
I've been on since as a writing
Very
assistant first
beginning.
season and worked my way all the way up to, I'm like one of the only writers that was on for 9 seasons and now 10 and 11, you know.
Still here,
however long ago.
baby.
Yeah, I love it. I love the character so much.
So, being with Dexter from the start,
Yeah.
how did you guys conceptualize Original Sin?
The tricky thing is the original Dexter had lots of flashbacks. So we got to see a live Harry and a young 10, 12, 14 Michael C. Hall in a wig. So it felt like a lot of the story was told. And so the challenge was to be like, what's new? And the other part that we really loved was this idea of a 20-year-old Dexter, right? This is not the smooth criminal, you know,
No, but
that
I
we
mean-
know of, that we see in the other
I mean,
show.
you remember being in your 20s.
Oh,
You're just
yeah.
coming into your
You're,
own. You're like discovering yourself. It's kind of the perfect starting point
Yeah.
for Original Sin.
Yeah.
What was the biggest challenge in reimagining Dexter Original Sin?
Finding a Dexter, right?
My question, okay.
Trying to cop a feel freak.
On experiencing death. You only get one first time.
How long did it take you to find Patrick?
Yeah, we looked at a lot of actors, a lot of people when Patrick showed up. John Papsideris, our
Love you,
amazing
John.
casting person, yeah. I was like, this guy's hot, this guy's good, this is the one, I'm telling you, this is the guy. If you don't have that look and that temperament and the voice and all those things, and even with Michael C. Hall doing the voiceover the way
Yeah.
he does, if you don't have that, you don't have a show.
No, of
You know
course
what I mean?
not. Let's talk about the first episode, shall we? We start off with a bang learning that Dexter survived being shot by Harrison. I gasped. I screamed. And then I love the way the episode starts. It's a flashback. You know, when they say before you die, your whole life, you know,
Yeah,
kind
Dexter
of.
even says it in voiceover. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
flashes
yeah.
before your eyes.
Yeah.
I had that moment when my husband proposed to me. And I was like, no, it's a true story. No, because I was like, wait, this is the end of my old life. This is the beginning of a new.
Yeah.
And my whole life flashed, and I was like, am I making the right decision? Anyways, I said yes, and I love my husband very much. I'm assuming this is also the setup for Resurrection, is it not?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Are you sure Molly Park is dead? But my God, what a great way to set up 2 shows coming out roughly around the same time. It's going to be essentially back to back.
Yes. And Michael was all game for it. He talked to us and was like, yeah, you know, I kind of miss him. And
He's a
we
genius.
missed him. We all missed Dexter
do.
Morgan. Yeah,
I mean, when
yeah.
we were shooting the scene where he actually died, I was like, this can't be. But I love that he's coming back. Okay, great.
and having his voiceover, that's the thing that's really great about this show. That's also something that's very different from the old show. This Dexter, when we hear Michael talking, this is the Dexter that's sort of up here, the storyteller, a bit more removed, right? He's able to look back.
So he's recapping
He's
everything.
he's the
I love
storyteller.
this,
Whereas in the
yes.
original show, Dexter was very present.
Yes.
Right? He was right here, and he was secretly leaning in and telling us what was happening in the moment, right? And telling us how he's feeling and how he's
Mm-hmm.
thinking. But this is the storyteller, and so we're gonna have a different feel for the voiceover. You know what I mean? And,
I love that.
And
What
still
do-
be funny and still very much about his point of view, and really frame why this is also important because
Mm-hmm.
he'll tell us things that even perhaps young Dexter doesn't know.
Aware of at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the opening sequence.
We're paying homage to the OG show.
I mean, come on.
The opening.
The mosquito.
The mosquito, but
Missing
he misses.
the mosquito!
That's exactly right. He's not well put together. He hasn't figured it all out yet, you know? It was sort of like a great way to announce to fans that this is not the Dexter you watched from
No,
before.
but it's still
Yeah.
so familiar, and it
Yeah.
still gave me chills. So bravo. When you guys dropped that for Comic-Con, again, I squealed being such a big fan, but what was the decision to bring all 3 Morgan characters into the opening sequence?
Well, because again, Dexter Original Sin, it's not completely an ensemble, but it's a bit more of an ensemble story, right? Because we're going to see things in Harry's life that nobody knows. We're going to sort of illuminate a lot of backstory that you think you know, but you might get a different shade of it. And then Molly Brown, Deborah Morgan,
Yes.
young 17-year-old Deborah Morgan, is also just as an important part of this season.
It's so fun to see her origin story as well,
Yeah.
but also in a fucked up place, high
Yeah.
school.
The thing that really attracted me to this part of her life, she's been living with this dad and brother who spend all their time together,
Yeah.
right? They go on these mystery hunting trips. In the OG show, there's moments where you learn that Deb learned how to shoot a gun because she just wanted to be there with her dad and
Yeah.
her brother. But they're doing twisted serial killer shit out in the woods, you know? They're training, they're looking at dead bodies, they're doing
Everything together.
everything together, and she is the ultimate outsider.
We see Dexter hiding clips of serial killers
Yes.
in his penthouse.
You know, he's got to blend in. His father's been teaching him how to blend in.
Mm-hmm.
And how does a young boy blend in? You know, they keep a Playboy or a Playgirl,
Yeah.
you know, a penthouse, whatever. They keep it like hidden under their bed so that if that gets looked at, it's like,
Oh, you're normal.
you're normal. You're just like everybody else. This is a kid who, since he was like 8 years old, 10 years old, he's had these terrible urges. He's like killed neighbors' pets and set things on fire. You know, all the sort of like classic serial killer
Serial
stuff.
killer signs,
And
yeah.
his dad recognized it and found this other solution because, as we know, Harry will do anything to save his son now that we know what happened to his first child. So this is a kid who in 1991 is like peak serial killer time, right? It's
Yeah.
like BTK is out there doing stuff. Bundy's been arrested. John Wayne Gacy was arrested a little bit ago. All these things were happening. Brady Easton Ellis's American Psycho had just come out.
I love that that's his favorite book.
And
It's
yeah,
the
just
only
think
thing
about
that makes him smile.
Well, think about him feeling completely alone. Nobody understands him.
But
And
then
then this book
feeling
comes
normal.
out that puts you in that headspace. And so now this is a person who completely feels like, I'm terrible. I'm a monster. I am horrible. I'm going to end up just like these guys.
Yeah.
I might even, one of my favorite lines in it is like, maybe one day they might even give me a nickname because then he becomes the Bay Harbor Butcher, which
Yeah.
is pretty fun.
I wondered if I was like him, or the Night Stalker, or BTK, or even the Zodiac Killer. I even wondered if I'd end up with a nickname too.
But this season is about a dad who believes in this kid so much and says, you don't have to be like that.
We're talking about serial killers, but we're really just talking about the family dynamic, right? Ultimately, it is about family, and ultimately, it's about looking out for your kids and sticking by them and understanding Harry's loss of his first child. Now you understand why he's so committed and why he will never give up on Dexter. And he never did give up on Dexter.
Yeah, because he's like, you may think you're a monster, but I can help you become something better,
Yeah.
you know?
At this college party, you get to see Dexter's rage for the first time. And it's really his first big emotion.
Yeah.
He's protecting his family. And then when he sees the sight of blood,
Yeah.
and then he sees that knife, and he's reaching for the knife, it blew my mind that Deb was the one to stop him from killing this guy in front of
Yeah.
everyone.
You know, in the OG show, Harry said to Dexter in a flashback that you got to lean on your sister. She's going to be the one that saves you. And so we see it right from the start. In that moment, Deb did not see her brother reaching for a knife and think my brother's going to
No, she
stab this person repeatedly. And she just
Stopped him.
Stopped him from punching this sort
yeah.
of guy. Yeah. So that part she missed. You see that pull inside Dexter. And if you look at that scene again, the knife almost vibrates. It becomes
It's
so
calling him.
sharply focused. And he wants to use that so bad and put everything that he's been thinking about into use. And that would have been the end of Dexter, right?
Yeah.
And it was cool to see that Dexter reacts as a protector for his family.
Yeah,
and
but
for his
also,
sister.
who knew he had moves like that?
Well, he trained.
I mean,
yeah. I love the leg sweep.
I mean, come on. He's like such an awkward walker, and yet put him in a fight mode, and he's
Yeah.
really hot. Before we get to the kill, we're gonna play one of my favorite games, Marry Fucking Kill.
Yay.
It's a game that you invented for my character, Molly Park, for her podcast. And so I'm going to pass you a card of all the baddies, and you're gonna pick one character. Mary, which would you pick to help cover up a crime?
Okay.
Fucking, which do you think was the sexiest killer? Or as the kids say, which killer has the most riz? And kill, who has the most shocking kills?
So Mary.
Mary,
I mean, I'd have to go with the Ice Trick Killer.
obviously.
You know, Brian Moser, played by Christian Carmaggio.
Yes.
Because that guy got away with some dastardly stuff for a long time and got inside Dexter's head the way, you know.
Of course. I mean, he is the brother.
He's the
so there we
brother.
go. Fucking.
Fucking. It's hard to pick. I'm gonna go with Kirk Caldwell.
Okay, great.
Clancy Brown.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
He killed me, that fucker. He has the most riz. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah. And you know, gets away with some stuff for how many years was he doing this?
That
30
bastard
years?
killed me off.
Yeah,
Could have
yeah.
had a chance on a
Yeah.
different series, but no, thank you. Thank you very much. And kill, who has the most shocking kills?
I mean, it's Trinity Killer.
Obviously.
Yeah. The end of season 4, which I got to be a part of the writing of that thing.
I cried. I mean, it's the episode where you're just so frustrated, but the writing was just so insane. So I commend you.
No.
But how twisted your mind is to think of the Trinity Killer.
What stopped you? Deb. She yanked me off of him. If it hadn't been for her, Dad?
When Harry has a heart attack and he's immobilized and his health starts to decline, and we meet crazy Nurse Ratched, AKA Nurse Mary.
Nurse Mary, yeah.
And this story, you know, we've read about her original, not Nurse Mary, but a nurse who.
There's been lots of like Angels of Death. They
Thank
call
you,
themselves.
Angels of
Yeah,
Death,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
How did you imagine this? Because it was in the original series.
Yeah,
it was mentioned. So did
Popping
you?
Cherry.
There
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
And we did talk a lot about that. Do we skip this? Because
No.
when you watch episode 4, it feels like, do we have more story to tell? Because
Mm-hmm.
people saw it. But we quickly realized this is the origin story. We need to see that first kill.
Yeah, but
And
it
the-
has so much purpose.
Oh, totally.
You're
yeah,
protecting your family.
Just her. I've been waiting to hear those words for so long.
The thing that I love that we came up with in the room was what we learned is like Dexter was manipulating his dad. He's been wanting to kill so long, and he knows if he says she's poisoning you with potassium
Yeah.
nitrate, that he'll be like, tell the police. But Dexter had to sort of manipulate the whole thing and lay it out. So at the last moment when his dad feels like he's gonna die, and he says,
He's like,
stop
"Do it."
her. This is where Patrick Gibson is just phenomenal. You see that just slight little smile on his
Smile.
face. This manipulator got
Got what he wanted.
wants.
Before we dive into the kill, let's play a little game called Blood Slide Roulette. There are 50 slides. Each has a question. Some are silly, some are serious, and some are very twisted. And I would like you to pick one slide.
I'll go with number 49.
Okay, number 49. What is your go-to dance move?
I'm a dad. I've got 2. It's the thumbs up.
Yeah,
I bite the lip.
can you stand and do it? There we go. Okay, let's do it together. Is that right?
Yeah, that's all I can
Is
do.
this the Humpty Dance
I
song?
wish I could do
Whoa!
that, but I don't do. I save that for
For the special occasions?
moments. Yeah,
That's 2
yeah.
shots in.
Yeah, yeah.
Copy you. Let's do another one.
Number 6.
Okay. What is the most 90s thing you've ever worn?
I was way into the flannel. I cut off the shirts, and sometimes I would even
Some
wear
Seattle
a bandana
grunge?
around. Yeah, I
A
was.
bandana on the thigh?
I miss like a Walkman, like a nice yellow
honey.
sport Walkman with the
Yellow?
ears that kind of go in, the little
Yeah.
small circles.
What was your first cassette?
Look, I grew up super evangelical.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Super
Fun
duper.
fact.
Yeah. And so
Which gospel song was it?
Well,
Oh, no,
I was way into Christian rock.
I respect that.
My first tape cassette was Stryper.
Okay, back to the episode.
Yeah.
Dexter's first kill.
You never forget your first time. Mine was with an older woman.
I love seeing how clumsy Dexter was, especially for his first kill. I'm so excited to see the arc of
Yeah.
the season, of how he kind of refines that. But how fun was it to shoot that clumsy fight scene?
It was a blast. Our stunt person Shauna knew what we wanted wasn't refined, wasn't
No.
someone that's been doing this a lot.
Yeah.
He's so excited. He finally gets to do this
I
thing.
mean, she's
So
trying
he's
to crawl
stumbling,
away.
yeah.
He's, like, pulling
She's
her
slapping
back.
at him. It's supposed to be that sort of dark humor. Like he says that great line, "I'll never forget my first time."
Yeah, I mean,
Mine
it
was
really
with
is
an
this-
older woman.
Oh, that was such a great line. It was so stylized. The lighting, the way it was shot. Why did you guys decide on that?
Well, Michael Lehman and Ed Pei, our director and
Mm-hmm.
DP. When you watch the original Popping Cherry episode, it's like the camera is like up
On
and
your face.
close and
Yeah.
very jagged looking and uncomfortable even.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to have that same kind of feeling, but let you see the whole thing.
It was a very
And so,
rock
yeah,
star
the
moment.
lighting is very like that sort of purples and
Yeah, and-
pinks and if you're like a literalist, you're like, where do those lights come from?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No.
That's how Dexter felt in the moment. Remember, this is Dexter the storyteller
Yeah.
who's giving us this thing. And so we're getting a bit of the feel of how Dexter felt in that moment. You know?
But I love that it tied in so perfectly to the other Morgan,
Yeah.
Deb Morgan, and her volleyball game.
Yeah,
And how
oh,
that
the
all
end.
ties in. But even the voiceover, like, Morgan for the kill.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was Clyde Phillips, the showrunner.
Oh,
Like he
great
had this
job, Clyde.
Yeah, he had this idea from the very beginning of like intercutting these two kids,
living
intercutting,
very different lives.
living very different lives, and both of them like excelling. The other thing I love about that moment that's sort of different than all the other Dexter kills is that moment when she talks about his dad, talks about Harry, and he leans in and you see a fire in him.
Yeah.
I already lost my mother. Harry's all I've got, and you tried to take him away from me.
Because normally his kills are a little dispassionate. You know what I mean? Like he's
Yeah.
a little removed because he's waiting for the moment. But you see him get genuinely upset of like,
Yeah.
you know,
Like, how dare you?
how, you don't talk about my
No,
talk
but
about my
also
dad.
that
you know?
moment of like, my mom just died last year, and
Yeah.
how dare you try to take the one person that's keeping this family together?
You feel that need inside of Dexter and that love of family. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So even in a kill, it's kind of a war moment.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful moment.
looking out for his
I was
dad.
really feeling it.
Yeah.
A nurse. No witnesses.
None.
God, when Dexter leaves the room and you're left with Harry and he's on the edge of his bed and the rush of realization of what just happened and like this is your new normalcy, like this is what's gonna happen, it's his first kill, how conflicted you must feel. It is the life of someone else, and as a cop, you're protecting the public, and to give him that approval and then come to the senses of like, my child just killed his first person.
Yeah.
Like that conflict, I felt it so, it was such a beautiful scene.
Yeah. I mean, Christian Slater, incredible. He brought the emotion to it all. But also just like Dexter just feels good. And I think that's probably the hardest part for
Yeah.
Harry.
How did it feel?
It felt right.
Before we sign off, are there any vague clues that you can give us that's going to happen in the season?
Fun moments to look for. It's really fun to watch Patrick Gibson as Dexter
Yeah.
react to Masuka.
Yeah. His first friend.
Yeah, his first friend and what this all means. We get to watch Dexter stumble a lot. We
Great.
get to see that perhaps his kills don't go as planned because he's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
With this raw hunger inside of him. I mean, you saw Jeff Daniel Phillips, Levi Reed,
Yeah.
the home invasion killer.
Yep.
We saw him
Shower
get
scene.
arrested. And,
Yes.
and so his storyline increases throughout.
Are there any fun behind the scenes stories that you can tell us about?
For all of us walking onto that set that had been there originally, it was like time had just stopped. And so there was this one moment when we were shooting the Michael C. Hall scene when he's like, you know, dying and comes back to life. So we were shooting that and I was like, hey, you wanna go see Miami Metro? And he was like, yes. And so walking onto the set with Michael C. Hall, so I just like watched him
React.
absorb and react. And he was like, it's like time to stop. He went and sat
In the chair.
in his spot at Miami Metro Homicide. I was just like, this is the magic that we get to do. And how lucky am I that I get to be a part of
Yes,
this
of course.
ever evolving TV show about America's favorite serial killer.
We ended the episode with the forensic chair spin. And can we now do a celebratory chair spin?
I would love nothing I'd rather do.
Me too.
Ready? We're
3,
going
2, 1. Yeah.
The way she does it is so much.
Dexter,
Look at that.
thank you so much for tuning into Dexter Final Cut huge thank you to our fantastic guest,
Thank
Scott
you.
Reynolds. And don't forget to subscribe to the Dexter YouTube channel. Drop a comment and jump into the Dexter community. We love hearing all your theories and stories and opinions. Just don't hate. We appreciate it. Stream new episodes of Dexter Original Sin next Friday, only on Paramount Plus with Showtime. And then swing by the Dexter YouTube channel the day after for our official breakdown. I'm Jamie Chang, and until then, tread lightly, my friends. And now, a sneak peek of next week's episode.
Welcome to Miami Metro. This is the Major Leagues, Dexter.
Put me to work, boss.
My first trophies.
Those earrings, where'd you get them?
One wrong move, it all falls apart.
Keep an eye on the new detective. I don't trust her.
Detective Maria Laguerta.
Have you heard about Judge Powell's kid? Reported missing.
If you do not release him, you will pay the ultimate price.
If anyone deserves to be killed, it's whoever did this.
I know I should include you more.
My dad and my brother, they don't even know I exist.
Good. I'd rather have you all to myself.
It's the Angels, Dexter.
Hello, Dexter. He doesn't remember anything about his mother.
Sometimes the bad guys, they slip through the cracks.
This is who I am. Who I need to be.
Take him out.
Dexter Original Sin. New episodes now streaming on the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.